Welcome again, students. So now let us continue with the lesson which we did in our last video. So we were doing lesson more about water. It is a long lesson, so it was not possible to complete in one video. So here is part 2 about water of lesson number 10. Now let us learn some more interesting things about water. So we will talk about states of water in this particular lesson. Now, states, children, is a new word for you. It could be something which you have not heard. So what is the meaning of states? States means that a form in which a thing or substance can be found. So states means the form. Okay. Let us look at states of water here. In one place it is hard. In the other place it is liquid. And in the third place it has become vapor. So states means a form in which a thing or substance can be found. So states of water means the states in which water can be found. Okay. Let us look at the three states in which anything can be found. So anything that you can see around yourself can be found in three states. It could be solid, it could be liquid, or it could be in the gaseous state. Okay. So anything that you see around you matter, it could be in solid state or the liquid state or the gaseous state. So look, what are the three states of matter? Solid, liquid and gas. For gas, we also call it as vapor of water. When we talk about the gaseous state of water or water in it, gaseous state, we say vapor. So what is the meaning of states of matter, children? State means the form in which a substance may be found. So states of water means the form in which water can be found. And states of matter means a form in which a substance can be found. So hope you understood what the meaning of a state is. Now let us try and understand what are the different states of water and how do these states keep on changing. Okay. So look at this. These are the solid states. Before we go to water, let us try to understand which are the three states of anything or three states of matter. So these are some examples of solid things. So what is this? This is a guitar. Okay. You can touch a guitar, it feels hard. And does the guitar change its shapes? No, it does not. So it is solid. So it is a solid. Look at this robot here. It is a solid. Look the truck here. The truck is an example of solid. And what about this slice of tasty pizza? It is also solid. Okay, so solids have their own shape. That is why they are called as solid. They do not change the shape when you touch them or when you put them in a container. Okay, so that is what we learned about water, isn't it? So these are all examples of solid. Let us look at some examples of liquids now. So look here. Water in a pool is liquid. Water in a tap is liquid. Water in the form of juice is liquid. Okay, milk is liquid. Oil in which your mother fries batata vada is liquid. So all these are liquids. So liquids also, like water, take the shape of the vessel in which they are poured or they take the shape of the container. For example, look, water in this pool is flat and water in this glass is tall. The juice in the glass is tall. So liquids do not have any shape. They take the shape of the container, just like we studied about water. Now let us look at the third state, that is the state of gases. Okay, now gases, you cannot keep them in any container. Okay, For example, look here. This is the smoke from a volcano. Can you try to contain this smoke? No, the smoke will spread in the air, isn't it? What about this steam coming out from tea? This also goes in and it spreads out. This is LPG gas which we use in our auto rickshaws, in the taxis, in buses also sometimes, and then we grow a little bigger when you go to the science laboratories and then the teacher does some experiments for you. You will see some kind of gas coming out of chemicals. So all these children are examples of gases. So water that we are studying about in today's lesson, you can see it in the form of solids, you can see it in the form of liquids as well as in the form of gas. And I told you what is the gas of water called. It is called vapor. It is called water vapor. Okay, so come on, look. These are the three states of water. So we have solid, liquid and gas. Solid, liquid, gas. Okay, so solid is in the form of ice, liquid is in the form of gas of water, glass of water, liquid is in the form of glass of water, and gas is in the form of vapor. So all of us, we have the solid form of ice, we have the liquid form of ice, and we also have the gaseous form of ice, isn't it? So these are the three states of water: the solid state, the liquid state, and the state of gas. Okay, so what is solid state called? It is called ice. What is the liquid state called? It is called water. And what is the gaseous state called? It is called as water vapor. Okay children, so hope this idea of the different states of water is clear to you all. Now let us look how these states can interchange. The states keep on changing children. So let us see how that happens. So look, what is this? This is a glass. Inside this glass you can see pieces of ice put in. Can you see there is a glass and inside the glass there are some ice cubes. So you can do this experiment at home. Okay, tell your mother to give you a glass and tell your mother to give you few cubes of ice. Now children, now it is hot. It is not good in this COVID season to have things which are very cold. Okay, we should try not to fall sick. So don't eat the ice or drink the cold water later on. So do this and as an experiment. So place a few cubes of ice in a glass after some time and then leave it open. All right. Now when the ice is solid, where did you remove it from? You removed it from the fridge, which was very cold, isn't it? When you keep it outside, what happens? What happens? The heat is there in the air outside, all right. All right. So what will happen to this ice after some time? After 10 minutes, if you go and look at the glass in which these ice cubes are kept, what will happen to the ice? This ice have melted. Can you see? There is no more ice in this glass. This is the same glass in which you kept ice outside, but now there is no ice. So whereas this ice gone now children, the ice has become water. So you will see that after some time the ice will become water. How did this ice become water now? So the heat causes ice to become water. So whatever heat was there in the air outside, you know it is sometime very hot, isn't it? You sweat and you wiped your face with the handkerchief. Okay, because it is hot, so heat causes the ice to become water, isn't it? Look at this now. It is a pan of water The same water in the glass, you poured it into a pan and you kept it on a gas stove. What can you see now? When we heat this water, it starts boiling. Can you see the water boiling? Along with the water boiling, you can see some dhua or some steam coming out of the water. So, what is this steam, children? It is the water which is changing into steam or vapor. So, when you heat the ice a little bit, it becomes water. And when you heat this water a little bit, what does it become? It becomes vapor, or it becomes gas, or it becomes steam. Look how the water is turning into steam. So, heat causes the water to become vapor. Now you all understood what is the meaning of the vapor is. Vapor means the gas form of water. You say gaseous, you don't say gas, but gaseous is a little big word, so I am saying gas. If you are able to say gaseous, it is very good. Okay, so the heat causes water to become vapor. Alright, vapor means steam or vapor means gas. So look, suppose there is a vessel and in that vessel you have taken water and you are heating the vessel. Can you see heating the vessel? There is candle. Okay, now here you can see you are heating the vessel. There is a candle burning beneath the vessel. It is not the candle actually, it is a burner. Okay, like you have a gas burner on your gas stove. This is a burner. As the water become hot, the bubbles will start forming and the water will start boiling. If you boil the water for some time, for 10 minutes, 20 minutes, you will see that the quantity of water has reduced. Can you see here? Here there is so much of water, whereas after boiling it for some time, what will happen? The water has become so little. It has almost become half. So why has this happened? It has happened because the water turns into steam on heating. When you keep on heating water, it changes from water to steam. That is why it is said that when you heat water, it changes to steam. Okay, so you can see now how water changes its state. Alright, look. So, water which is solid, that is ice. When you heat this ice, not necessary to keep the ice on gas, ice melts with the heat which is there in the air around you. So, when we heat this ice gets a little bit of heat. What happens is it's melt to become water. Can you see here? And the same water, if you collect it in a pan and again you heat it on a gas or on a stove or on a burner, you will see that it starts becoming vapor. Can you see? So in the previous picture I showed you how the water becomes less and less. Sometimes what happens, your mummy keeps something on the gas and she forgets, alright, and then that thing burns off. Burns off means all the water in that has turned to steam and it starts burning the vessels, starts burning, isn't it? This is how it happens because heat causes the ice to become water and the water to become steam or vapor. Okay, moving on, let us talk about the next point here. Now steam, when it cools, now let us see what happens in the opposite process. We saw how ice becomes steam. Now let us talk about how steam becomes water. Okay, so steam, when you cool it, look, this is again a beaker which is boiling with boiling water, and inside it, if you hold a steel plate on top of that beaker like this, what happens? The steam rises from here and it touches the cold plate, and immediately it forms drops of water on the plate. So when you cool steam, steams turn to water. So it goes opposite. Okay, so when you cool steam, it turns to water. Look here, there is water boiling, and if you hold a steel plate on it, and if you remove the steel plate after some time, you will see that the water droplets falling out of the steel plate. Look, this is one very good experiment. If you want, you can do at home, but be careful that your mother is there with you or elder is there with you when you are lighting the stove or the gas. So you keep water in a teapot or in a small jug to boil, and wherever the steam is coming out from, keep a plate on which ice is there. Now, why ice is there? So that immediately you can see the steam becoming water. All right. So if you hold it like this, the ice has made the plate very cold. Okay, as soon as this hot steam touches the plate, which is very cold, it immediately changes to water. So when you cool steam, it changes to water. Okay, look, so how the process going in the opposite direction. So when the steam cools, it forms water. When the water cools, it forms ice. Have you seen how people keep ice trays in the fridge? They fill the ice trays with water, and when you keep it in the fridge for half an hour or 1 hour, it becomes ice. So when steam cools, it becomes water, and when water cools, it becomes ice. So what plays a main role in changing the states of water? What do you think? Which is the thing that plays the main role in changing the states of water? Yes, it is heat. So you give heat to water, the state changes. You take away heat. When you take away heat means, what are you doing? You are cooling something. Okay, the state of water will change. For example, let us look at some experiment or something that we saw. So when you heat ice, it becomes water. When you heat water, it becomes steam. So heat plays a main role in changing the states of water. Alright, so giving heat to water or heating water makes it change its states. Look here, and when steam is cool, it forms water, and when water is cool, it forms ice. Okay, so this is about the change of water. So when water boils, it turns into steam, and when water cools, it turns into ice. For example, now take a ice tray and pour a few glasses of water into the ice tray and put the ice tray in the freezer section of your refrigerator. After an hour, you will see that it has become ice. Okay, so when water cools down, it turns into ice. So this is about how water changes its states. Now ice is made in large quantities, children, in factories. At home you make ice in the refrigerator like we saw here, but in your textbook on page number 63, there is small question about do you know, and which they have told you that ice is made in very large quantities in factories, whereas at home we make it in the fridge or the freezer section of our fridge. Look here, this is how ice is made as huge blocks in big factories, and then they transport it. They take it from one place to another in trucks. Alright, and then when you go to a juice center, you ask the juice wala uncle to give you a glass of watermelon juice. He asks you okay, he asks you, okay, what he asks you, should I put ice in it? And when you say yes, he breaks a small piece of ice from this big piece that he has. Okay, it is called as a slab of ice. So he breaks a small piece from the slab and he puts it into your watermelon juice, and then your watermelon juice becomes very tasty, isn't it? But as I told you, now it is since a time when people are falling sick. Do not try to eat too much ice or cold things. Alright, now let us look something more interesting made with ice. So have you seen this? Have all of us have eaten this, isn't it? On one side you can see the picture of Pepsi Cola. So Pepsi Colas are water which is frozen and in which color and sweet sugar has been added. It is put in plastic bags like this, and then you bite off plastic bags and you nicely suck onto the Pepsi Cola, isn't it? And then you have these candies which are made up of ice. So here how is it made? Ice is frozen, water is frozen, and in that water they add sugar, fruit juices, and juice ice candy or ice fruit is made. Okay, let us move on and let us talk about some more qualities. But before that, one last time we will revise. So when ice is given heat, it becomes water, and when water is given heat, it becomes vapor. Now I'll keep on repeating these points, children, so that there is no way that you will forget these points after watching this video. Vapor when cool, it becomes water, and water when you cool it becomes ice. So I told you it is a process which goes opposite and opposite. Alright, so this was about how the states of water can change. Let us now move on and talk about some more qualities of water. So look, we will do one more experiment. Now this experiment is also part of your test book. Okay, so let us take a glass of water. Take a simple glass and not a glass of water. Let's take a simple glass and you will wipe it clean from inside as well as from outside. So if you have your test books, children, you can open it to page number 61. You will see this experiment in your test book on page number 61. So first you will take a glass, then you will nicely clean the glass, that is you will wipe it dry from inside as well as from outside. Then what will you do? You will put it some ice cubes. We have seen this, seen these bottles of Pepsi, etc. So you see, put it some ice cubes. After some time you will see that the ice will melt. Of course, we saw it. Okay, what else will you see? You will see that water droplets will be seen on the outside of the glass. Inside there is ice, but outside you will see drops of water. So where did these drops of water come from? So there was no water outside, isn't it? We wiped the glass clean, we wiped the glass dry. So where did these drops of water on the outside of the glass come from? Isn't it the question you sometimes feel? We have seen this kind of pictures. Sometimes we drink Pepsi Cola, or sometimes we drink Thumbs Up. You will see this, you will see that there is a lot of water on the outside of the bottle. There is Pepsi inside the bottle, and in the bottle is cold, and when you drink cold Pepsi Cola, you will see that there is a lot of water on the outside of the bottle. Look, you must have seen this kind of bottle also. Look, there are lots of water droplets on the outside. So where did this water droplets come from? That means there is water somewhere around us, also in the air, isn't it? Because we saw that when vapor cools it becomes water. So when this vapor touched this cold bottle, it become water. Look here, you have seen this kind of glasses. Also, sometimes we write on it, isn't it? So this is because water vapor is present around us. Look, this is the cold glass, and when the warm moist air, okay, when the warm moist air means air in which there is a lot of water, Vapor, when it touches the cold glass, it turns into small drops of water. We did an experiment also. I showed you the experiment also where you boiled water and you hold a plate on it. So this means that there are water droplets around us, surrounding us all the time, but it is in the form of vapor. We cannot see it, but when it touches cold thing immediately, we are able to see it because it changes into drops of water. Okay children, so now this was one more thing, that there is water vapor all around us. Okay, so water is present in the air also in the form of water vapors. Can you see this all? Okay, can you see this all this can you see this beautiful droplets of water? They are in the form of vapor, or they are in the form of gas. Okay, so this is one more important thing. Now let us look at one more experiment we will look at. Suppose you must have seen your mummy making chapatis on a tawa. A tawa is called a griddle in English. So when she is roasting chapatis on the griddle, you know that the griddle becomes very hot, isn't it? So now try once, without getting scolded by your mother, to put some drops of water on this griddle. Try to sprinkle some drops of water on the griddle. You will see here a very amusing sound also. Okay, then you will see that the water droplets, they fly away in the air, they evaporate. Look like this. You can see water touches a hot surface. What happens? It immediately changes into steam. So this also we saw. So when water not only boil, but also when touches a hot surface, it changes into steam, and when it touches a cold surface, it changes into water vapor, and water vapor changes into water. Okay, now this is very common thing that all of us do. What does your mummy do after she washes your clothes? Okay, she puts it out to dry like this. She hangs it out to dry. Why does she hang it out to dry like this? Because of the heat, because of the sun. What happens the water? What happens to the water which is there in the clothes? They become vapor. When you keep water on the glass and when you boiled it, it become vapor. But here, when the clothes are wet, when your mother washes the clothes are wet, isn't it? So there is water in the clothes. Something is wet means there is water. So when you put it out to dry, can you see the heat of the sun falling on these clothes? What happens is because of the heat of the sun, all the water in the clothes, they evaporate and the clothes become dry. So that is also one reason. There is also one property of water. You can see that when water becomes hot, or when you give heat to it, it changes into vapor. All right, now we will talk about the next quality of water, that there are many things which we suck with water. Once you put it in water and you mix it up, you will not be able to see that particular thing. You will be able to see only water. That is called as dissolving. What it is called? It is called as dissolving. Now look what are they doing. Someone has taken a spoonful of sugar and they have added to a glass of water and they have mixed it up. After the sugar get mixed, you will be able to see only the water. That means the sugar has dissolved in this water. Okay, now look, turmeric, that is haldi. Try adding haldi to a glass of water. You will see how the turmeric also dissolves in the water, and here the water becomes yellow. Sugar did not have a color, so the water did not get the color, but turmeric is yellow in color, so here in this case the water becomes yellow in color. Now look, salt also, if you mixed it up, can you see salt now in the water? No, because that salt has dissolved in the water. Okay, sugar dissolved in water, turmeric dissolves in water. Look, good or jaggery also dissolves in water. You must have seen your mummy making good water, isn't it? Jaggery water. She puts jaggery in water and she heats it. So the jaggery becomes water. The jaggery mixed up dissolves in the water. So things which dissolve in water are called soluble. Okay, are called what? Soluble. Things which do not dissolve in water are called insoluble. For example, insoluble. For example, look here, in this glass there is sand you poured. Okay, there is sand, you poured water here on the top of the sand. Now water is separated, sand is separate. Water is separate and sand is separate, means the sand did not mixed up with the water. Okay, so there are certain things which dissolve in water, and then there are certain things which do not dissolve in water. So salt can dissolve and sand cannot dissolve. So salt, when you add it to water, it becomes invisible, it vanishes, it goes away into the water. When sand is added to a glass of water, it is as it is. Alright, so children, this was a very interesting lesson. We learned so many things about water. So what are things we learned about water in this particular lesson? That we have learned water has no color, no smell or no taste, and water is transparent. Next we saw that water takes the shape of the container in which it is kept. Then water spreads on a flat surface, it flows down a slope. And then next point we learned about that is water is found in 3 states, that is solid, liquid and gaseous. And several substances dissolve in water. Okay children, I hope you understood. We all learned that in this lesson. Okay, I hope you all have understood that all we have learned in this lesson. Okay children, thank you.